The mainstream sock puppet media think you're an idiot because they're an idiot. I cannot believe what I'm watching. I can't believe what I saw last night. And I can't believe, first of all, and I've got to get this out of the way. As you know, the dumbest morning show, evening show, afternoon show of any group on any platform is the Fox Morning News with this quartet of oafs. I don't know. And there must be this thing where they say mispronounce words, leave sentences, with the proper order or the improper order or pluralization or case or tense. Just say whatever you want. United States of America. Just say whatever you want. Speak like it doesn't matter. Grind down the level of intellectual literacy into nothing. Morons. Morons. This is a country we live in where more people are interested in where Sean Hannity is moving. Who gives up? This is not news. I never remember anybody talking about where did Walter Cronkite? Does Walter Cronkite go to St. Martha's Vineyard? Does he have a home on the east side? Because there is no news. That's why all of it, and you're seeing it now in the radio world, bankruptcies and delistings and whatever. Let's begin. The Jeffrey Epstein unsealing. Oh, and one more thing about Fox News. Learn how to pronounce Giuffre. Virginia Giuffre. One moron called her Giffer. There isn't a line producer there. There's somebody says, listen, we have a, okay, class, listen. Class. And you too, listen to me, especially you. Giuffre. Ghislaine, remember that one. Ghislaine, they also had this Ghislaine. Sometimes you get into these words because I really like to understand unique pronunciations for unique names. And when I'm being paid $5, $6, $10 million a year, I don't want to look like an idiot. So nobody at Fox ever thought, let's teach, especially this numbnuts over here, it's not Giffer. It's emblematic of how no one cares about anything. And then last night, the funniest of the funny was when all of a sudden they said, breaking news, dong. They have this noise they make on various shows. Dong. What is it? It's breaking news. Dong. Bong. It should be, that should be it. The sweeper. Breaking news. Ding, 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 ding. Boom. Okay, I got it. This just in. 970 pages of documents have been released just now. Judge Prescott, the Southern District of America, released it in the case of another defamation case between Virginia Giuffre and Ghislaine Maxwell. Ding, 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 ding. I used to say Ghislaine one time as a joke. I heard somebody on TV actually say Ghislaine, which I'll let you do the math on that one. Ding, 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 ding. Okay. What is it? Breaking news. Let's go to legal correspondent. And it was a CBS. I'm looking on my YouTube, on my iPad. And I see these, and you always start like this. Now, before we go to you, okay, Hortense or Cornelia or Tavistock or Dingleberry, whoever you are, remember when we go, we want you to start nodding your head. Start nodding your head. What are you nodding your head about? You got to nod your head. And when you're out, you got to go like this. When you're doing like an as live or a standing, you got to go like this. Move your hands. All right, let's go to Dingleberry Jackson, who is, excuse me, why are you nodding? I haven't said anything yet. What are you nodding? You're nodding an affirmation that what I'm here, that you're about to hear something. Stop nodding. They learned that. Is that John? Thank you, Dave. Well, as you know right now, and they don't know anything. This is what I love to hear. Hey, numbnuts. This is like 30 seconds ago. What do you? It's 937 pages. What are you asking me? Remember the Bush against Gore thing? Who was it? Who was the guy? Who was the genius who went right to the end of it? Go up more. I mean, he went to the end. Remember, it was Bush against Gore. I think when they ran up the steps, and you always go to the end. Therefore, held, not the dicta. And they go, he's a genius. No, he went to the conclusion. How does the story end? Let's go to the end. Breaking news. God damn it, stop nodding. I haven't said anything yet. And let's go to the couch of Fox News. Giffer. No, it's not Giffer. How do you say it? Giffer? No, I don't know how to. I love my troops. Okay, fine. This is where we are. Morons. Okay, this is our thing. They didn't know anything. I'm spitting all over myself. Because of you. Because of you, I'm spitting on myself. Number one, Bill Clinton. Nothing. Nothing. They mentioned Alan Dershowitz. Nothing. David Copperfield. Oh, for God's sakes, he performed. He performed. What's the matter with you? He performed. My favorite one was, and please bear with, and I'm not trying to be gross about this in the least. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. How about that guy, honey, Jean-Luc Brunel, former modeling agent and longtime Epstein associate who was found dead in a jail cell in France in 2022 while facing charges that he denied over his alleged participation in sex trafficking. Found dead in the Michael Jackson was mentioned. He was in it. So what? Okay. So what? My favorite one is Alan Dershowitz, originally charged with, remember this one? How do we do this? He says, Alan Dershowitz, who helped disgraced financier Epstein get a sweetheart plea deal. And by the way, Alan Dershowitz was a lawyer. And he got his client a deal. And it wasn't an illegal deal. And so what? That's what lawyers do. Hello. Anyway, he features prominently in the filings, which predate a lawsuit in which Jeffrey allegedly said she was trafficked to him. She withdrew it in 2022, saying she may have made a mistake in identifying him. Now, listen, this is very good. And Dershowitz has been absolutely adamant in this. He says, I don't know what you're talking about. I was with my family. This is ridiculous. But how in the hell do you miss? How do you think? Does Alan Dershowitz look like anybody else? I'm not trying to be cruel here. I'm not trying to be cool. But does anybody look at Alan Dershowitz? I mean, seriously, does anybody look like that? Can you maybe, you know who he reminds me of? Remember the Sean Penn character in Carlito's Way? Anyway, that's over with. Remember the David Boies lawsuits? Defamation. Oh, my God. Not one mention of where the evidence is. Nothing. Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton. Guess what? Bill Clinton likes young girls. Uh-huh. You see where we're going with that? Well, they say he likes young girls. What, is that a crime? You like blondes? You like Asians? De Niro has a thing for African-American women, right? You might like brunettes. I like saucy blondes. That's me. but is that against the law? No. And being a pedophile, if you say, this may sound weird, but I'm into wearing a kilt with no underwear and squatting over a goldfish bowl. I haven't done it, but I like it. I like that. Is that against law? No, it's not against law, whether you did it or not. So if somebody were to say, this is weird, but I'm kind of attracted to children. Do you have sex with children? No, but I'm kind of weird. I'm into tube socks and I'm into knee pads and I'm into fish mitts. Remember a fish mitt with the fishmanism? There's nothing wrong with this. Bill Clinton and half of this perverted, demented Hollywood that keeps objectifying children, they like children as well. Do you hear what I'm saying? They like children as well. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. This is the most ridiculous story. Look at this Swiss girl. There she is. Where are the tapes? Wake me when they appear. Swiss, thank you. That's all I've been saying. That's all I've been saying. Who cares about this? What about this? Well, thank you very much. Well, while they mispronounce Jeffrey on the Fox News channel, I'd like to tell you about this. Whatever. Well, this is a box of information we have. It's been to a thumb drive. And let's put in this one. This is called John Doe 35. I know who that is. My God, that's what I want to see. I don't want to see it, but I'm saying that's the one. And who has copy? And by the way, when you release it, there goes the extortion. I can't extort money out of you if I release it. You hear what I'm saying? I can't do it. I want you to stop for a second. Stop, because I've been screaming about this since day one. Do you understand this? Listen to me. But in the meantime, I'm going to tell you about it. Please make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel. You know that. But I want to read this to you. And this is about this. Yes. It is about one of our great sponsors at mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. Listen to this. This is one of the best ever. I love this. This came in today unsolicited. Here we go. You ready for this? Where is it? Oh, for the love of God. That's not it. Oh, it's just, I've got it somewhere. It's this. Oh, here we go. This is from somebody. His name is Tony. That's all I'm going to tell you. It says, hi, Lionel. I wanted to let you know I just purchased my fourth slipper, my pillow slipper. The last three have worn out as I wear them almost daily while in the house for the past 5 years. I look forward to my new pair and thanks for the promo code. My first time trying the moccasin version. And he's got this thing linked. Anyway, that's it. So there he is. He's stuck. He's into the moccasins. And why? I'm telling you, it's very simple. This. Because anytime I get to tell you something, it's the best, absolute, the best product, the best there is. And people are going nuts over mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. That's all. I'm going to get back to this real quick, but I had to tell you this. He sends pictures of this, another satisfied customer, and you can be a satisfied customer too. mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. That is it. You got it? Okay. Bill Clinton should say, yeah, I like them young. I don't like children. I don't want to break the law, but yeah, I like them young. I like them young and I like them hot. What do you think about that? I'm Bill Clinton. You see remember when I played the Vanishing Cigar? Yeah, I'm a freak. You know who the Energizer Buddy is? Remember that one? He supposedly had a thing with some woman was in one of his various places. Remember his Clinton library? They said that the top floor was he doesn't need to go on high places. He's a freak. He's been going at this guy drop trial and in front of everybody. Paula Jones. He attacked. He's just the guy's a freak. And after all he did, you think it's informative that he says he likes young ones? He's a freak. He's a three-peckered goat. Come on. He's a satyr. Do you understand what I'm saying there? Why is this? But on channel, stop nodding. On CBS News, well, apparently he likes them young. I was on an interview show where somebody said, do you think, why don't they prosecute Bill? I said, for what? Prosecute Bill Clinton. For what? Say he likes him young. First of all, how do you cross-examine a document? And number two, how do you cross-examine the document of a guy who's dead? And number three, where's Ghislaine Maxwell? Why wasn't she made a deal? Sammy the Bull supposedly killed, 19 people? We make a deal with him, but Ghislaine Maxwell, she's so important, we've got to put her in prison. Breaking news. It was the biggest nothing burger. I hate that expression, but I kind of like it. It's zero. There's nothing there. It's a limited hangout. It's this way of making you think that was it. No, that's not it. Keep going on. Where are the women? By the way, Virginia Giuffre, what about her involvement? Did she ever help recruit, find, assist? I don't know. How many of these girls? How many? What if now here is not, we don't know this because they killed him. He did not commit suicide. They killed him. And if you don't take my word for it, I think Michael Baden, even Sean Hannity was very good when he was going through his intricate explanation of the rear naked choke. Okay. The question is simply this. If there was a trial, and if somebody said, state your name for the record, Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein, before you were killed, did you have the opportunity, or were you involved in child sexual trafficking or human trafficking? He would probably say, wait a minute, what? Child? No. Underage? That could very well be. Did you go out in your white van with Ghislaine scouring? Hell no. I had an apartment. Didn't he have an apartment here for women? Just his. Yeah. He had an apartment for his stable of girls. They can leave anytime they want. Now, there was one case where somebody said that Ghislaine apparently called her and said, you're not going to leave or something like that. But it was not like these, from what we understand. I'm not trying to soft soap the guy, but if he could take the stand and say, I never trafficked anybody. They could leave anytime they want. Are you kidding? We had a list. I was turning them down. We're buying them this and that and that. And Ghislaine, was she out there? Oh, yeah, sure. She was the den mother. Oh, absolutely. She was like, trust me, I'm the older sister. Yeah. And most of our recruiting came from the girls themselves. Most of the recruiting came from the women themselves. See, they don't tell you that. Well, they were underage. Not all of them. There was one case I was reading about a woman who said somebody touched her breast. She was 20 years old. Now, I don't know if that was 21. I think it was probably 18 at the time. Are you kidding me? With all, we act like this. We want to hang these people. There were little kids being brought over the border every single day unaccompanied, and nobody cares about this, but we care about this. Do you know how many modeling agencies? You want to go into it? Let's talk about beauty pageants. Let's talk about talent shows. Let's talk about, for years, the women, who would line up to be, let's say, the girls of the Big Ten or nude girls on. I mean, this idea of targeting. The law is very simple. If you are under the age of consent, you cannot you cannot consent. I think we all know that. Okay, fine. The other issue, which is the most important and the most critical, is very simply this, and listen to me carefully. There are women, remember, I don't want to even try to differentiate, but there are women who are 16, 17 today, which would be roughly, in terms of experience, not always, But compared to the 50s and 60s, 30 years old. Swiss Girl says, the true story within the story remains to be told. Yes, absolutely. This is a story that is so emblematic. This is the one that kills me. Where are these other people? Where are these other folks? Where are oh my God, it goes on and this. Whatever happened to Les Wexner? Yeah. Remember Les Wexner? Les Wexner. This guy was. Do you know? You want to talk about how they picked, how they selected, how Epstein was at Dalton. He didn't even. I don't even think Epstein had a college degree. And I think what was it? Bill Barr's father or something might have been. He's not involved in it, but I mean, he was one of the headmasters or whatever. Do you understand what is happening here? Nobody's going into this. You think those jadruls on the morning show on Fox are doing this? No. Who's Les Wexner? How did they get? Who picked? Just like they took Obama out of nowhere and made him president. Boop. Who is he? I don't know. Okay. They just, boop. You're the one. You're anointed. Boop. Just like Zuckerberg. Hey, here's a great story. Nerd kid at Harvard, Facebook. Yeah. We'll pick you. Yeah. InQtel, DARPA. Yeah, you're the front man for this. That's good. Hey, you guys say, by the way, Dorsey, you're going to be the Fredziful dweeb from Twitter. And, Bill Gates. That's the best one. You and Paul Allen working in your garage came up with the computer, which is great. Thank you. We'll take it from here. You're going to be the front man. We're going to own you. We're going to own you for the rest of your life. And you're going to be the front man to promote all of this stuff from artificial meat to bio this to whatever the hell it is. You're going to be the guy. You understand what it is? You're going to be the guy. And we're going to keep promoting this to the point where it goes on and on and on. And you're going to be, and by the way, you've got your own story there. That's a freak. All these people. And by the way, Bill, make sure your computer has big holes in the back door, so to speak, so that all these viruses can get in, so that we, the government, can just immediately move in and open up any computer that's on any desk in any situation. We are the most gullible group of people. We can't handle. We have been told for the longest time, don't get conspiracy minded. So here comes this Jeffrey Epstein. We'll pick him up. I think he worked for, I don't know, some house. He didn't know anything about this. He wasn't a billionaire. They plucked him out. Les Wexner, boom. What's Les Wexner and Victoria's Secret? And are you there? No, I guess not. Oh, that was Les Wexner was Victoria's Secret. The Limited. Victoria's Secret. You see where we're going with this? Let's pick. By the way, interesting. You notice how very rarely do you see a picture of Epstein smiling. He has like Andre the Giant teeth, Stevie Ray Vaughan teeth, kind of scary, Beavis and Butthead teeth. You never see him smile. He's weird, but he was plucked out of nowhere, and all of a sudden he became this guy. And they put him here, and this mansion on 71st or whatever it is. Everybody went to this thing. This thing is historic. I mean, it was. Everybody saw him. He wore like 3 clothes. He walked around with that fake Harvard shirt, but he used to wear this big white kind of a parka. I saw him on 5th Avenue right in front of, I guess it was like in front of Bergdorf, something like that. Just standing in the street. I mean, you saw him all the time. And he was a big money guy. And there were Just look at the dinner parties. People would go there and they'd show up and they weren't doing anything. Because as you know, people in the media business are whores and star effers, pardon me, but that's the expression. They are addicted to wanting to be at the place, at the scene, whatever it is. It's weird to see. We saw recently Kissinger towards the last days of his life being helped into a car. I one time was sitting in a cab. I was in front of Le Bernardin. I look over like, there's David Rockefeller. He's just standing there. I'm thinking, dude, you just see people. We used to see more, but all over town. By the way, interesting. Helen Gurley Brown on buses, crosstown buses. Very interesting. People love the star stuff. Love it. They love it. Oh, how about this? Edie says, so what about DJT hobnobbing with JE? Didn't hobnob. Did you know JE? But Edie? And thank you. Do you know that I forget what it was. There was this guy, they said, here's this guy named Epstein. Okay. He's a freak. Uh-huh. Palm Beach? Freaks? You want to look at the freaks? Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, freaks, sexual freaks today. Well, anyway, he hit on the daughter of a member, and Trump threw his ass out and said, that's it. That's it. You want to talk about hobnobbing? You want to hobnob with despot? Who? Jeffrey worked at Mar-a-Lago, right? Yeah, women's locker room. Yeah. Swiss Girl said Eric Weinstein called Epstein a construct. I agree. Well, yeah, he's like I'm saying, he was plucked, he was created, he was this, whatever it was. You're going to see people. Do you remember Charlie Rose? Remember this? Okay. I heard about Charlie Rose. Now, Charlie Rose is not in the Epstein, but I heard about Charlie Rose, and I don't even work there. Everybody knew Charlie. Oh, guys, he's a freak. Girls, yeah, could you bring that over? I mean, Matt Lauer? Oh, dear God. I got some other stuff. I'm not going to say it. You can't believe this stuff. These are freaks. One, I'm not going to mention the name, sort of a couple. The story is she liked to watch him have sex with other people and this and that, either videoed or there. Now, I never understood that one, but you know what? To each his own. Freaks. Freaks. Let me stop you for a second, okay? I want to explain something because many of you are innocent and you don't know this. When you are famous and rich, you get bored. And I want you to imagine that you are allowed. There are people, some of the worst people of all time. Some of the worst serial killers versus a less than worst serial killer are always poor people for the most. You don't see too many. You don't see too many billionaire serial killers. Okay? But they're just regular people. But their fantasies and their craziness takes off. And when you are a billionaire and you are able to have anything you want, you sit back and you say, I knew somebody one time. Let me see if I can, I'm going to try to clean this up. A friend of mine told me about somebody you would definitely know. This is the story. And this person was talking about weird, and if I told you the name, and again, I wasn't there, but I'm just telling you this in general. This guy has always been very, very good about this because he's kind of in the know and kind of works around these people. Anyway, there's one particular person, and she said either she overheard it but she said that, how do I say this? They were talking about something about people who have had, the story like with Phillips, John Phillips, and people who, the number of family of Hollywood who have involved their own family members in the most disgusting of ventures, who have sold their daughters, usually daughters, for stage door Sally's are one thing, but I mean, take their child and say, here, boom, this is my child, here, take her. It sounds bizarre, but it's not as rare as you think, because the world is different. But let me just say this. When asked about either her son or something, she may, and this, I'm not going to go into detail, but she explained the reason why that seemed to be somewhat of interest to her is that he is the only person who would say no. Now think about this. You live in this world and you don't know, you can't imagine this. It's something I can't imagine. Mrs. Allen and I went to see Bobby Kennedy when he basically threw away his entire presidential campaign because he was doing this tour with Shmuley Boteach. And even though I think he meant well, that is going to destroy him among the left. In any event, I saw, and she saw, but I saw it. Imagine you were casting a movie and you said, I want you to get fallen women. Pardon my phraseology. Trampy, skanky, slutty, fallen women, hard, erstwhile ex, femme fatales who are now wearing clothes that are too tight, out of shape, bad plastic surgery. They look like just, I mean, if you were casting like the worst brothel scene of some 1960s Eastern European, whatever I didn't even think these people existed. They were freaks. They basically looked like slut, prostitute. And they were looking at Bobby Kennedy. So help me God. He had nothing to do with it, but they were like in the front row. And they were like, I thought, oh my God. And this guy who said one time he kept a note. He had notes. I keep track of all the women I've betted. Here's my rating. The whole Kennedy thing, the John Kennedy thing. This guy would, shtup a snake if you hold a head. These people are demented. They live in this world where they just, and nobody stops them. Nobody. This is the thing. So for Bill Clinton to say, I'm the president, you haven't been in a room when Bill Clinton was in his prime. Now I think he's got Parkinson's or something. I'm no expert, but he just doesn't. And by the way, he's going to get the Sicilian flu. You watch him. He's going to always have like water. He's going to be drooling. Mr. President, what do you have to say for those individuals who said that you knew more about the Jeffrey Epstein case? He'd be like, oh my God. Maybe we should leave it alone. Who ordered the film? He'll make Joe Biden look like Niels Bohr. Watch Bill Clinton. He's going to be shuffling and sliding and saying, Have you seen him at the Hamptons when he gets out of a car and he goes into a bookstore? Book. Something's like, wow. Watch him now. It's like, oh, come on, you can't go after Bill Clinton. Look at him. I want to know whether he was client. Come on. They'll use his voice as a new sounder, a sweeper sound on Fox News. Ding, 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 ding. Breaking news. So yeah, Bill Clinton likes young girls. Wow. Gee, imagine that. Veritas says, good day, Mr. Nation. Have I missed much? Nah, not really, Veritas. But thank you, good man. There's another thing too, which is this whole part. Trump knew these people. Trump wants to hang around famous people. And if you're in Palm Beach and this guy's throwing money around, Trump's got Mar-a-Lago. Sure, come on. And then Trump basically said, this guy's no good. Hell, Trump went after Dusty Saddles or whatever her name is, Stormy Sewer Pipe or whatever it is, Stormy Daniels. This is the skankiest trollop. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm old-fashioned. I'm going to say this. Few things make me as disgusted as skank, trollop, fallen, slattern, viragos, meretrices, malkins. A malkin is a slattern. Also, a grimalkin is an old cat. But there's all these words. These, they're a dime a dozen. Skank, skeeve, slime. But they love that stuff. So guess what? Welcome, Mr. and Mrs. America, to this demented world. So yeah, Bill Clinton said that. And here's the best part. Not the best part. Here's the sad part. These women, there was never any end to them. Was it wrong? If you're underage, it was. But there was never an end. Alice Fava says, you crack me up. Love your insights and your energy. I hope to see you at the cutting room. All the best, you and Mrs. L. Alice, I'm so glad you brought this up because right now, you're invited. I'm not going to tell you whom I invited, but that's really cheesy because I don't know if she's going to be there, but I did. This one. But if you want to be there, I'm going to be at the cutting room on February the 3rd. That is a month from yesterday. Tickets available, please, for the love of God. Get tickets now. It's going to be a night of music and fun and mayhem and frivolity. Veritas says strumpet. Slurry. Okay. Is that an Aussie term? There's so many words for prostitute woman, not man. A satyr, S-A-T-Y-R, satyriasis is one. But I'm going to say this again. And I told you this. I prosecuted a case where there was a girl who was like 16 years old who was a professional. She was this was a long time ago. She was a call girl. I couldn't believe it. And I thought to myself, she's 16 going on 50. I know the law doesn't recognize that. But there are people who used to get married at 16. They used to get married at 14. And not Jerry Lee Lewis. So Jeffrey Epstein was a bad guy, but he's not public enemy number one by any stretch of the imagination. And why they keep calling him pedophile, they love this pedophile. By the way, if you like words, and by the way, there are, I keep saying by the way, by the by, there are terms for different things. Undenism is one of my favorites. Undenism is urination kind of thing, like urolagnia. Remember when they remember the piss gate? I'm sorry to bring this up, but it was part of the dossier. They kept calling it golden showers. No, it wasn't. They missed it. Well, listen to this. Pedophilia is defined as a psychiatric disorder in which an adult or older adolescent experiences a primary or exclusive sexual attraction to prepubescent. That's it. Is that Epstein? Did he have a primary or exclusive sexual attraction to prepubescent children? No. There are people who have such, they're so ecumenical, so to speak, in their sexual proclivities. It doesn't matter, man, woman. Do you know how many in the rock world Men with men, and now they're married and kids. You know, David Bowie later on married. He had Imam with a daughter. There was a time with David Bowie. This guy was stuck mud. It doesn't matter because it was a part of that whole thing. I remember Fran Lebowitz was talking about, especially in New York, and one of the reasons why for the prolific spread of AIDS, it was not just necessarily gay men, but there was this idea that everything, anything, kind of a post 60s. But let's go through this. For example, there are adolescent, I'm sorry, but let's get this straight because somebody's apparently paid a lot of attention to this. Prepubescent, then there's adolescence, hebephilia. This is a strong sexual interest. Doesn't mean rape, doesn't mean it means an interest. Who are in early adolescence, 11 to 14, okay? And showing Tanner stages. There's all these various different. Now, ephebophilia is a primary sexual interest in mid to late adolescence. So you've got hebephilia. You've got this is also called chronophilia. And this is, remember, it is interest. It is interest. It is interest. And interest, I can't say that enough. Interest is a thought. And human beings are allowed to think weird stuff. By the way, Edge Dweller, look at this. He just gifted 10 Lionel Nation memberships. Sweep them up, my friends. You got them? Now, let me try this again. And I want you to understand this. Interest, targeting. Interest. If a man attacks a child, is he a pedophile? No, he's a rapist. If a man attacks a woman, what is he? He's a rapist. What if it's a young girl? He's a child rapist. Or what does it matter? Did his primary sexual interest? No, excuse me. He just violated a child. I don't care what the interest is. Is a slave owner a racist? What? Were the people in the South racist because they held slaves? What? Racism had nothing to do with it. It was stealing people who provided free work. Hello? Where does this come from? This is what people think. We get into these weird things. Do you think that a person who was involved in trafficking in, let's say, extinct species, do you think that maybe that has anything to do? Do you think maybe? Maybe? Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense? Does it? These are words I want to know. And once words I want to know, but also I want to use them correctly. And I want to be in the position where we're using words correctly. And we don't use words, how do we say this? We don't use things just because they're sort of like, well, maybe they're, I don't know. No, these words mean something. There's something to be said for this. Do you understand this? This is the part which is the most important thing available. I want us to be able to say, number one, and I say this, and I'm repeating, and I'm saying it again and again and again and again and again, that I know it's kind of not fun, but I know people like very much to be involved in this subject. But we have to understand what is it that we are talking about and what is that we're doing. And more importantly, this is also important. How do I say this? We have to recognize the fact that our society, the way we, from our music to our, I guess our proclivities, our whatever, there is a level of demented decay in our collective society that knows no boundaries, none. It knows no end. Excuse me. And the thing that I find even more interesting, excuse me, and this is the most critical, and I try to explain this, is that I've never been a prude. And there was a time in my generation when a lot of people said, we really need to be thinking a lot about, or we should be concerned about things more than just what is prudish and the like. And consequently, it's important for us to ask ourselves, where are we kind of going as a society? Does that make any sense? As a society? Does that make sense? And this is not just about this is about something beyond Epstein and what we are using. We've always had to listen, since the days of Caligula, since the days of, oh my God, ancient Greece and catamites, and goes on forever. We have got to understand, we have got to realize, we have got to put ourselves in a position of recognizing something very, very critical. And that is that we have to understand, this is important, that because of the social media, and let me just say something to you right now. I talked to somebody, and I'm going to be talking to him again very, very soon. The problems that we have, specifically, the biggest existential threat, and I'm saying this to you, is going to be, listen to me carefully, it is going to be that of how social media and artificial intelligence and AGI are going to change everything. Veritas says we have to pay more attention to linguistic pedantry. The English language is a living wonder of the world. We few, we marry, we band, oh brothers, indeed. Being a pedant is okay as far as I'm concerned, because I am a pedant. I'm a priggish adherent to the particular words that are used to explicate correctly as a society. And I've gotten into trouble with some because I've said that there are many, many words that deserve attention, more than just, for example, the words of scatological referencing, coprolalia, cursing, I think have been always very, very critical, sometimes in explicating, limiting what a particular person thinks. So I've been kind of fighting the good fight regarding that goes. But let me just tell you something. Let me just put this into perspective. This is bigger than anything goes. And the reason my biggest objection to all this is very simply this. Jeffrey Epstein is a limited hangout. You're thinking that this means something. If you want to stop the real horrors, the real terror, the real horrors that we are seeing, you absolutely have to recognize a very simple fact, that it's going on at our borders. That's it. That's the answer. At our borders. That's where it's occurring. That's the problem. That is what's critical. I can't put it into words other than, if you really want to go after where it is, where the problems are, you must go to our borders. That simple, my friend. That simple. Cannot explain it in any other way possible. It's going on now. It's going on now. By the way, Veritas says, my favorite interpretation of pedantic is school masterly. Interesting. The pedant, by the way, it always has a kind of a negative connotation of being, again, priggish, unreasonably punctilious regarding whatever. But in any event, and I thank you for that, sir. The borders are where it's at. The borders. There's no other way around it. There's no other way. I mean, if you really want to get to the bottom of this, that's it. Now, let me stop right now for 1 second because I have not mentioned a very, 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 very critical part of our group, our sponsors, and that's those people who stand available to help you in the event of, food emergency, catastrophe. You know it, I know it. We're expecting some catastrophic snow, whatever. Okay. And immediately some people are going to be saying, where's my bread? Where's my milk? What do I do? This, dear friends, this is something that is the least of your problem. Could you go a week? A week? Could you go a month? If there were no stores available. And unless you think, and by the way, if you have kids who have to eat a lot and varied, could you do this? No. That's why you must listen to preparewithlionel.com right now. They can't handle the truth, but you can. The truth is the clowns running this joint live for chaos. And many of our problems could be solved overnight, but they let them be. Destruction fuels them. If you can handle that truth, you need to visit my website, preparewithlionel.com. Preparewithlionel.com. You'll get $60 off a much-needed 4-week emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. The country's largest preparedness company, My Patriot Supply, is your fighting chance at survival. Sealed inside rugged packaging, these delicious meals last up to 25 years and provide over 2,000 calories a day. Think about that. Eat right in emergencies with this 4-week food kit from My Patriot Supplies. At this low price, you can get one for everyone in your family. Visit preparewithlionel.com. Write this down. Commit it to memory. Preparewithlionel.com. Order by 3 p.m. for free same-day shipping. Prepare right now at preparewithlionel.com. One more time. Preparewithlionel.com before total chaos ensues. Now, my friends, let's talk about other kinds of things as well. Oh, by the way, Ed says, be mindful of the contractual definitions we give to meanings. Oh, yes. And also, by the way, this is a time to talk to your kids. And what do you think this is about? The reason why this is a classic limited hangout is because the real issues that face us, the real issues that absolutely, positively face this country are not being addressed because they are being given the impression, you're being given the impression that somehow by virtue of, what am I trying to say? By virtue of this subject matter, you think, okay, that's it. ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, Fox News, whatever, they're all, and by the way, how many of their higher ups are telling them, don't go beyond just the original bumper sticker because we want this as a limited hangout to be given to let people think this is the extent of it now. Period. End of subject. We want people to think this is the end of it. This is as deep as it goes. That's what I want people to understand. And also, why nobody seems to be saying that Jeffrey Epstein was murdered. I will never understand this. This in this world we live in, supposedly of this. Oh, we're into this. We're a true crime country. No, we're not. If anybody in their right mind thinks for one reason, if you think for a second that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide, when do you want to hear the forensic evidence? No, that's all right. The official story. You want to hear about the official story about UFOs, JFK, RFK, Vietnam, 9/11? Shall I go on? You want to hear the official story about Ukraine? You want to hear the official story about what? About American involvement in the Middle East? I mean, the official story Why does the official story mean anything to you? Why in the name of God does the official story mean anything to you? How in the name of God can anybody suggest that the official story now for anything could possibly mean anything? Veritas says, I think edge dweller just defined pedantic, laughing on that. Yes. Yes. There might be a tad bit of irony. Edge is a good man, though. In a weird way. There is a bit of this. Try going and explain to anybody how. Have you heard anybody really explain Zionist enough? Do you think people have a working conversance with Zionist, the term? I don't think so. Do you think they understand it? I don't think so. Do you really think so? I don't think so. I like this one. Jeffrey Epstein got facial reconstructive surgery and is living on a private island in the Mediterranean. That is absurd. That is absurd. Reconstructive surgery. Now, I've seen some good reconstructive surgery. That is ridiculous. It's nice. It's fun. It's groovy. Do you remember years ago? Do you remember when people said that John F. Kennedy Jr. was alive? Remember that one? John F. Kennedy Jr. was alive, and that he was going to somehow rejoin with Trump, and it was absurd. People got very upset with me. I said, "Wait a minute, what about Bessett, his wife, and his sister Lauren, and what happened to them? They probated wills. They shut. He's what? He's living in a whatever." And people just jumped into this love of the excitement of the story. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. But people just said, "Well, whatever." People love this idea that somehow they're moved elsewhere. I heard something which, by the way, is not that as far-fetched as you think, to an extent, but some people have suggested it for whatever it's worth, and that's that Saddam Hussein is still alive. Because you don't hang kings. You don't hang. And there really wasn't enough of it. It's kind of interesting. But it sounds good. It sounds good. Remember, people said, I looked at the ear. And his ear doesn't match, and this and that. And now they're ear experts. Could be. Yeah. So, it's okay to think this. And remember that as interesting as these things are, stuff like that makes us seem crazy. And I don't know who we are, groups like us. I don't know who we are, but I'm saying I believe in facts and I believe in the absolute truth. And let me tell you something right now. And we'll never know exactly why, who, and all that stuff. But if you think for 1 minute, if you honest to God believe that Jeffrey Epstein was somehow, I guess, the victim of his own suicide with petechial hemorrhaging and shattered hyoid and thyroid cartilage, no, absolutely not. Veritas, our good friend, says these people are shameless and bold. They don't care to be discreet anymore. He's probably on Mauritius, getting coconut oil rubs on the beach. Who knows? No. Excuse me. Veritas. All right, let's play this. Why? This is so obvious. Why would somebody want Jeffrey Epstein killed? Okay, would it be detective? It kind of makes sense. Why would somebody want Jeffrey Epstein killed? Any idea? Now use your head. Why would they want Jeffrey Epstein killed? Please, I beg you, ask me. Why? 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 Why would someone want Jeffrey Epstein killed? Why is the notion of his suicide completely inconsistent with the behavior that he exhibited prior to his death? Why? Why do you think? I like this one. Not to mention the clones. How many celebs have been accused of having or being a clone? Hillary Clinton has a fee too. Biden allegedly. A clone? Lookalikes, I believe that. Doubles? Oh, of course. Somebody who looks like you maybe has some work to. But a clone? You mean a biological, as in Dolly the sheep clone? No. No. And the clone would not, I don't think you mean clone literally, because a clone would have to be your age. I would have had to have been cloned at the same time, and you were born, whatever, it doesn't matter. Now, why would they want him? Why would they want him killed? To cover up child rape? Yes. Because he is of no use anymore. What was his job? What was Epstein about? Collecting data, collecting information, collecting people, collecting those individuals who are part of the honeypot, who are part of the blackmail ring. That's exactly what he did. That's exactly what the purpose of it was. That's all he was. He wasn't a financier. Yeah, he did some stuff in the long run. Veritas says because he is alleged to have trafficked children for high-level pedocrats. Well, yeah, but not even that. Not even that. I don't have to traffic anybody. By the way, remember what trafficking is. Trafficking involves basically the illegal use of the, how do I say this? The illegal involvement of trafficking in drugs. Could be merely the possession of something at a particular way. Trafficking doesn't mean moving. I know it's not traffic. You think of cars and you don't need to traffic. He wasn't selling these girls out to, as far as we know, countries and people. No. No. Just give me a picture of this person, the president of blank, the chairman of the board of blank, the king of blank, the prince of blank, the whatever blank, senator blank, somebody that I can use. Just give me that person with one underage child. That's it. That's all I want. He's not into child trafficking. He's into extortion. Veritas says, not a pimp, an intelligence officer, perhaps. Not really, not even what's interesting, a pimp, by the way, there's also that Mac Daddy. Remember that term, Mac Daddy, that was used years ago? It's a very, this is the honeypot. This has been going on since day one. And I've got all kinds of, I know where I would go to look. I know where I would, my list of folks that I would be immediately interested in terms of whatever it is. But the bottom line is simply this. And I ask this very, very simple question. Use your head. He's of no use anymore. Now, it's hard to understand why did they ever want him killed in public? I don't understand this. Why? And the reason why I say that is because he could have just disappeared. He flew into Teterboro in Jersey. He drove in here. It was arrested. Or no, it was arrested in Teterboro and then sent to MCC or whatever. And by the way, his lawyer said he was up to beat. He was asking for money for the quote commissary. He was doing all this other kind of jazz. He did not see himself as necessarily ending his life or whatever the hell it was. This is his behavior. He thought he was going to win because he's Jeffrey Epstein and they're going to get him out of this. And he figures, I got so much dirt on people. This is some kind of formality. I'm Jeffrey Epstein. I can bury half of the planet on this one. Of course. What are you talking? Okay. Well, that's the issue. And that's a very fascinating thing. A very, very fascinating issue of how that works. Edge Dweller says, right now, very interesting. He says, in these circles, there are many Sergeant Schultzes in the series Hogan Heroes by always saying, I know nothing. Well, and that's true. And thank you, by the way. There is that way. Whether it's this, whether it's just in any kind of criminal cabal, any kind of conspiracy, any kind of confederation of evil, anything. Yes, indeed, there are these people. That is to be sure. That is. But we can come up with merely a series. We don't know who's involved and what. By the way, let me ask you this, Edge and others. Where is the disposition of the home? All of his stuff, all of his information, all of his homes. Has this been disposed of yet? We don't know. We don't know. All right, dear friends, we're going to continue with this. Please continue watching. Continue watching. There's other videos during the day because I want people to understand. I want you to focus. Do not be taken in by the fact that this is a classic limited hangout. And they want you to not, they want you to focus on this to the exclusion. They want you to think, well, that's the end of this story. And they want you to move on. And they want you to believe that this is some kind of a final cessation, so to speak. Now, my friends, in the meantime, let me again remind you, I want you to do me a great favor and to follow Mrs. L, because her work in this is absolutely critical. Because if you want to talk about child trafficking, let's look at the border. That is her link right there. Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. Lynn's Warriors. That's very, very simple. Very easy to find. In addition, dear friend, I want you to go and I want you to sign up for her. Her Twitter account, by the way, is probably one of the most important and critical sites there is, bar none. And it's Lynn's Warriors. I'm going to put it right there for you. And if you are not following on Twitter, if you're not following Elon's, this is still the best immediate platform there is to know what's going on, bar none. I sincerely request that you do so immediately. There it is. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. Thank you so much for your kindness. Thank you. Edge Dweller, thank you, dear friend. Veritas, you have been most kind today. Thank you immensely. Raul Rodriguez, una desgraciada. I did not see you, my friend. Thank you so much for that. Alice Fava, thank you. Fava Bean, and a nice Chianti. Swiss Girl, thank you as well. Edie Crowley, we love you. You are wonderful. Don't ever change. I mean that sincerely. And in the meantime, please don't forget these final words, this valedictory, this sayonara, this denouement. Remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.